Good morning, good
Hel-
afternoon, or good evening to wherever you are.
Hello, everyone. Thanks everyone for joining the webinar. This is, of course, the Tour du Mont Blanc highlights webinar, and it's hosted by us, Mapo Tapo. So from me, Antonio from Mapo Tapo, and from Tom. Tom from Alps Adventures. He's an international mountain leader and guide, and he's certified by the UIMLA, the Union of International Mountain Leaders. If for those that don't know it, he's got like his certification over 20 years ago, and he's lived in Switzerland, Norway, the UK, the Czech Republic, and in many more places. And now it's back to your favorite place, which is Tom, the Swiss French brother. No,
That's exactly
uh,
right. Yeah.
I mean, I hope I was there too. I guess.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking, weren't we? How the problem I've had today is so much snow. I've been skiing with snow up to my nostrils all day, trying to teach people to ski in powder, and it's just an absolute blast. But it's kind of getting. We've had this week-long storm, which is awesome fun. But it's a lot of avalanche risk as well, so we've been managing that as well. But that we're talking about, we're in the middle of the winter, but of course we need to get organised for the summer, and that's what we're here to talk about today, isn't it?
Yes, yes, yes. Just adding a bit to your presentation, Tom. So Tom is running Alps Adventures, and that's our local partner for the Tour de Mont Blanc. And Alps Adventures is a company that brings around 1,000 people a year in the mountains, hiking and snowshoeing. And for those many guests, of course, Tom cannot be the only guide. There are other professional guides working with him, over 21 of them, and they're highly skilled and as certified as Tom, so by the UIMLA. And I mean, just to add a little bit of here, he also is a ski instructor, as I was just mentioning. And I mean, in the winter, he's having fun, I guess, with this deep snow in the Alps. And
Except,
yeah, I'll leave it to you, Tom. So let's start with the webinar.
okay, so just a moment there from just a bit of logistics. If you want to ask a question, then there's the Zoom Q&A there. If you're not used to that, you can find it at the bottom of your screen. Or if you want to say something in the chat, we'll run through that as well. We're not going to keep you long. We've got 30 minutes. We're going to smash through it as quickly as we can and answer all your questions. So I'm going to start with a 1-minute trailer video about this, and here it comes. Why should you come on the Tour du Mont Blanc highlights? Come for the views. Come for the adventure. Come to see the Alps and the glaciers. Come to make memories. Come for the cheese and the wine or the beer. Come to have an experience as part of a small team of like-minded people. Solo travellers are always especially welcome. Let us take care of the details. Let us guide you like we have thousands of other people over the years. Let us show you the way. Let us set the pace, which is slow and steady. Let us look after you so you can have an incredible experience in the mountains. If that sounds like something you want, then come and join an Alps Adventures Tour de Mont Blanc highlights. 4 days, 3 nights, from June to September. No experience necessary. Just come and let us look after you. All right, so I thought I ought to start with showing you where the Alps is, because I know you guys are from all over the place, and where the Tour de Mont Blanc is. So here's Europe. If we zoom into Europe, we'll see that the Mont Blanc is here. And the Tour de Mont Blanc goes all the way around this Mont Blanc Massif, as it's called in French. And that is the full Tour de Mont Blanc. I'll skip back to that in a minute. But what we're talking about today is the Tour de Mont Blanc highlights, because the full Tour de Mont Blanc, to do it well, it takes a minimum of 11 or 12 days. And what we do is slightly different. I'm going to talk you through it in a bit more detail. But basically, we meet you with Mapo Tapo. It's a little bit different because we have an extra day. We meet you at the airport on the first day of your tour, around about 5:30, to get you in time so you can fly in and travel on that day. And then we drive you around to Chamonix, which is here. And then the first night we have a meet and greet, and we have a nice meal together in the hotel, and you've got rooms in the hotel there. And then we start hiking the next day. And I'm just going to show you on my Strava here what that looks like. We drive through the tunnel, Tour du Mont Blanc tunnel from Chamonix here, and then we start hiking in the Italian Val Ferret, which is the Italian side of the Mont Blanc. Can everybody see that on my screen, Antonio? Just give me a nod that you see my Strava. Okay, perfect. So we start our climb up and we get this beautiful through across some waterfalls. There's a stream that we can dip our feet in, or if you're really brave, you can swim in. Then we have this little drop down here until we go up to the Refugio Banati, which is our stop for the first night. And it's an absolutely fantastic hotel, refuge, which I think this is the view from it. This is the view from it here on our presentation. So it's a pretty good place to chill out and sit on the terrace and have a beer. It's kind of a warm-up day, the first day. We're getting used to hiking. We're getting our hiking skills in place. The guides will talk you through all sorts of things there. Second day, we start the day with what's called a balcony route. So we go across and then we drop down at an old latery, drop down to the Chalet Val Ferret for coffee and our last Italian coffee. Antonio's Italian, so I know he likes Italian coffee, and a cake, of course. We love our cake on the Tour du Mont Blanc. Then we are entering into this section here, which is the traverse of the Grand Col Ferret, and this is a pretty decent climb up through the up to the Grand Col Ferret, and it basically we're climbing out of Italy and into Switzerland. Sometimes we imagine we're the Von Trapp family and have a little bit of a sing because we're going into Switzerland, climbing into Switzerland. This is the highest point on the Tour du Mont Blanc, and it's 2,537 meters. I'm not sure what that is in feet, so maybe somebody can tell us in the chat what that is in feet for you North Americans. And then we drop down into Switzerland. Of course, the first thing we meet in Switzerland is a cheese farm where we can have some cheese and a beer. And then we drop down on this path here into the Swiss Val Ferret. When we're here, we pick up a minibus. Our minibus driver, Jika, picks us up here and drives us up to Champex-Lac, which the clue is in the name. That's where the lake is that you saw in the video. So you can have a swim in the lake there. Then we've got another 5 minutes in the minibus up to our second night, which is at the Relais d'Arbet. Third day, here it is coming through on the Strava here. We leave Champex-Lac, we start dropping down through the trees, through a bubbling stream, and then we have a nice gentle walk through the trees up to our first cafe for the morning. And then we do our big climb of this day up to the Alpage Bovine. Here's the climbs you can see coming up here. It's pretty full on. You have to sort of step through it and really be prepared to mentally walk uphill for, probably 3 hours, which is a pretty big climb. And as you can see on the map, we're above Martigny here and the Swiss and the Rhone Valley. And Bovine is at least about 3 or 4 miles from the road. I actually go there and help unload all the supplies in May. They drop them in helicopters. So, it's one helicopter, but it goes vroom, vroom, vroom. And we help them load all the beer and wine there. And Natalie, my friend who runs that, she cooks us this fantastic lunch of a rosti, which is a Swiss delicacy. From there, we're dropping downhill to the Col de Forclaz that you see in there, further downhill to Trient, which is which is a tiny village. It used to be a smuggler's village, and that is where the pink church is. Final day of hiking, we're going to start at Trient, where we're here, and we're going to walk through the village up to where the track starts, and you can see it's a pretty twisty track up through. Now, what's nice about this track is it's in the trees, so it's in nice and shade. We just take our time, we take a nice steady pace up to the col here, and at the col, that's where you saw on the video those fantastic shots of the Mont Blanc. Oh, let me pause that. Let me go back a bit. Do you remember the video? It was here, and this is Mont Blanc over here. So we've got all these views of all these mountains through there. From there, we drop down, we stop for lunch for our final restaurant where you saw us having a beer and having our final French Swiss meal before we drop down to Le Tour, and then we pick up the train for a couple of stops back to our hotel in Chamonix. Oh, and that is the route. I feel like I've done a lot of talking, Antonio. Do you want to say anything? Do you want to jump in with anything that's there?
Well, I mean, that was pretty much very comprehensive, but just let us know a bit about the team. Who are the guides that are coming with us, except from you? Like, present us a bit the others.
Sure. Okay, so at the moment, I'm just putting together the final rota because I've got, you can imagine, having 21 guides and they all move around and live all over the world. But the trips that Mapo Tapo have got and that I've got these guides assigned at the moment. We've got Mark. He's a UIMLA guide and a ski instructor. He's very experienced. I think he's done the Tour du Mont Blanc over 100 times, maybe 150. He likes a glass of wine and he is super fit. He's old, he's got wisdom, but he always walks me off the mountain. He's on Strava every day. Sabrina, she's a French guide. She lives near Chamonix, but she speaks beautiful English. She's on the 22nd of June trip. She's a real plant specialist. She knows lots about plants and animals, and she's always telling me things about that. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. So it's a cool thing to do. Westy, he's a UIMLA guide as well. He lives in Chamonix. He's British, but he lives in Chamonix. Although he's in Denver this winter, which I think he might be regretting because we've had so much snow. So, well, I haven't spoken to him this week. But he's a great guy as well. He's been around a lot, done lots of different groups and lots of different trips. He's on 3 trips at the moment. And then Min, who I absolutely love, she's British. She actually lives in the Écrins, which is another mountain range in the south of France. But she works for Médecins Sans Frontières when she's not here. So when she's not in the mountains, she's dealing with people in war zones and in trauma. So I think she comes for on our trips to relax a little bit. So she finds it very relaxing compared to dealing with other things like that. So
well, that is great, Tom. So if you also show us a bit of the pictures and also where the people will be staying in the huts, the hostels and everything else.
Yep, absolutely. So I just thought I'd throw some photos together here. As you can see, you know, we're not all like marathon runners. We're not all ultra runners, although I actually do run an odd ultra marathon. I know I don't look like it at the moment, but we're just normal people. What a big point about this is, as long as you are in good fitness, you're mentally strong and you're prepared to walk all day at a slow and steady pace, you can have a good time. You don't need to be super fit. Of course, the fitter you are, the more you'll probably enjoy those uphills. But you can see our focus is on fun and getting everybody round. And there's lots of people of all sorts of different shapes and sizes. Looks a little bit like we're alcoholics on this. Somebody did once describe it as the world's biggest bar crawl, but it's not really like that. We're here for the mountains, but hey, we can enjoy a glass of wine or beer in the evenings as well. So, a bit about the Alpine huts. Well, as you've seen, huts is not really the word. They're not like a shack in the woods. They're not huts. They're full-on hotels. But they're not like 5-star hotels. They're Alpine hotels. And they're all in beautiful places. They look after us and feed us really well. They've all got cold drinks and well-stocked bars. Most of them have some Wi-Fi if you need it. In fact, you know, you can pretty much get 5G on pretty much the whole tour if you need that. But I implore you, I know you Americans like to work hard even when you're on vacation, but sit that out of office reply doing and enjoy your time away. They've all got showers, although you don't always get hot water. Actually, this one here, the Tour du Mont Blanc, that has a sauna. So we quite like getting in the sauna there at the end of the day. And then we jump across just in the river as well. So, you know, we've got lake swims, we've got showers, we've got saunas. You can jump into a glacial stream if you want to. We've got comfy beds. We're tired at the end of the day. We enjoy the day. We're outside all day. We have a great 3 or 4 course meal. And then as we fall asleep as soon as our head hits the pillow. But we are in shared rooms and we have got shared bathrooms. So The rooms vary, where sometimes we're all in one room, sometimes we're in rooms of 4 or 6. Normally, the people in our group, as long as they're full groups, that's not a problem as well. So that's kind of how the hostels work. We always put our shoes, our outdoor shoes, in their boot room. There's sometimes some slippers, or you can walk around in your socks, and you can see this is the Banati first night. This is where we sit and enjoy these glaciers, level with the glaciers. This is the Rallye des Arpents. It's tucked up its own valley. It's the only building in that valley. And this is the Auberge de Mont Blanc in Trient, and it's right next to the pink church, and it looks up onto the Trient Glacier as well. So absolutely fantastic places. What else do I need to tell you about the hostels?
Well, a bit about the food, drinks, probably.
About the food, okay, so you get a 3-course minimum. You get 4-course in Italy meal. So it's it's good food. It's filling food. They throw out 100 meals in 10 minutes. Everybody gets served in 10 minutes. So you don't get much choice. You basically get what they're serving or vegetarian. Normally it's like 2 choices. So if you've got a super specific meal, request, if you're a gluten intolerant, lactose free vegan, you might struggle a little bit because they like cheese and things like that. So we tend to say, bring some really decent snacks, but they make a real effort to look after you, and they know that people are lactose free. They know that people are glucose free or need oat milk, and they try and look after you as much as you can. If you've got a really specific diet, bring some lightweight snacks that can help you through, and we'll always make an effort to try and look after you, but just try and be understanding. This place here, everything comes by helicopter. The other 2 are on the road. So you always get a salad here. It always amazes me. It's like, how do they do salads for 100 people a night? Helicopter delivered. Breakfasts, pretty much big breakfast buffet in each place. Bread, jams, cereal, lots of coffee, lots of tea, stuff like that, things to get us started. But then we always make sure we have stops along the way. We always make sure there's opportunity to buy snacks to make sure that people are well fed. Running out of time already. Here's an example of, this is a rosti that I mentioned before. It doesn't look great in the photographs. It looks like a mess, but it tastes fantastic. And bearing in mind, this is cooked on a stove 3 or 4 miles from the road. It's pretty impressive, and it often shows up in our reviews that is their favorite people. So you get your choice from lunch. Sometimes we ask you to order it the day before, and the guides will call ahead and get our orders in at the places that we're stopping. Water is the other thing that people worry about. Plenty of water stops along the way. It's not like America that you don't have to worry about Giardia. I've worked in the States for lots of years. You don't have to worry about Giardia. You don't have to worry about treating your water. If you're worried about that sort of thing, just bring a few pills. But normally you can drink all the water at all the hotels. There's water stops the way where you can fill up your water bottle. If it's really hot, I might take 2 liters, but mostly I'll probably just take 1 liter at a time and fill it up once during the day in terms of water. Does that make sense? And then when we get back to the hotel, I always say drink a liter of water, and then beer is 98% water.
That's very good advice, I guess.
Okay, so did I miss anything out? So one thing I should say is these are the dates, and we need to look at how you book it, which is here on the Mapo Tapo website. And I think Antonio's got a surprise for everyone who is at this webinar at the end of the webinar, but you can check it all out and you can see the dates there. I should just say that on the September dates, that's Holly's date, the route is a little bit different because the tunnel is shut. The Mont Blanc tunnel shut. So we don't think it's worth, if we had to drive you around, it would take like 5 hours to do this route. So we don't actually get to Italy in September. We run 10 trips in September, and we start basically what I talked about on about day and a half through, and then we add in, if I go back to the map at the beginning, we add in a section and we stay the night here just inside France, and then we add in a section along here. Depending on the group and the weather, there's lots of different routes, as you can see. along here, but you get this beautiful view down the Chamonix Valley as well for that final day. So that's just something to be aware of if you're thinking about September, a slightly different route than what I've talked about.
That's great. So Tom, very last thing, there was people also asking what to pack and what to wear, how light they should be, how heavy.
I'm glad you asked. Light is right, okay? So the things you have to have are backpack. And in your backpack, you need to have a waterproof, a sheet sleeping bag. And if you don't know what that is, it's like just made out of cotton or made out of silk. And we sell them for just, what are they, 20? We sell them for 20 euros. I think you can buy them off your guide before you start if you need one. And in all the huts, you get pillows, you get blankets, you get duvets. So you don't need to carry a proper sleeping bag or anything like that. Everything else is a luxury. So I take a toothbrush, a small pack of toothpaste, sun cream, a change of clothes. That's it. I've obviously got all the safety gear as well. But basically, get used to the idea of we're all in this together. If you put on a fresh outfit in the morning, within an hour, you're going to be sweaty in it. So just put on the clothes you had the day before. Bring a couple of pairs of underpants, a couple of pairs of socks, and get a nice outfit for the evening after you've had a shower and your walking outfit. And then it all works well. Don't forget your swimsuit or something that you can swim in. It's not an Olympic pool. There's no regulations on what you can swim in, so don't worry too much about that. Maybe a small travel towel as well, if you're going to have a shower and swim and all that. And that's about it. But if you're coming for longer, basically, we always start and finish at the Vert Lodge here. That's where you'll meet your guides. Hopefully, you'll be staying there. That's where we'll have dinner, hopefully. And we've got our own luggage room there, so you can leave your big bags there and just bring your small backpack. The other thing I would say is walking poles. If you've not used them, we really recommend them. I've never met a guide who doesn't use walking poles. We rent these at just 10 euros, and we recommend that you borrow a pair, and we'll teach you how to use them. And what most people say after a trip is, oh my God, where can I buy these? These make life so much easier. So that's something we recommend as well. That's about it.
That's great.
And,
thanks, Tom.
And don't stress about if you're trying to write this down or whatever. When you book on, we send you a full kit list, and we send you a couple of packing videos as well nearer the time when you're getting ready to pack. And I'm sure the ambassadors as well, they might even have some suppliers they recommend or some deals that they can help you out with.
That's great. So thanks, Tom. I guess we can leave some space for questions to anyone that has some. I recommend putting them in the chat. I will be picking some of them. Of course, we cannot reply to all of them. You already see a lot, but I mean, we will cover all of them after the session in the comments, on the social media and everywhere else. So we'll pick some of them. So Tom, there is Francis, which is asking, if you wanted to arrive in Geneva a day early, would I just need to meet you and the rest of the team at the airport on the day one around 5 p.m. or what?
Yeah, so you've got two options, Francis. One option is you spend the day in Geneva and check that out. Geneva's not a huge city. It's got a huge reputation, but it's a small city. It's nice. One day is enough to explore it fully and then meet the team at 5 p.m. Or you get yourself to Chamonix. There's minibus transfers. It costs about 35 euros to get there on your own. And then you can have a day chilling out in Chamonix, which is the quintessential and best mountain town in the world.
Well, I guess it's a good time in Chamonix always. And then also Francis has another question. For photography focused in videos, would you be able to prioritize some good sunset, sunrise spots during the trek?
We don't have to prioritize it because they're there everywhere and you will find them. I mean, certainly the first night in the Bonatti, the sun sets in front of us and then it rises behind us, but it hits the mountains. So you see the mountains come down. Similarly, in the Relais, you see the sun setting through the fenêtre de Arpet. That's French for the window of the Arpet, which is at the end of the valley. And similarly, the sun sort of rises and it sort of glows up. So the sun sort of just comes down, lights up all the mountains, and it's just brilliant. Third day in Trillon, that kind of a deep valley, so it's a little bit more difficult to get a sunset sunrise, but it still sparkles off the glacier at the end of the valley, and you'll be able to see that. Somebody asked about the walking distance. It's about 60 kilometers. It's about 3,000 meters of up and down, 3,500 meters of up and down. I've talked you through a route. Of course, the guides do occasionally change the route. They do stretch it. They do change it. They have their own favorite variations. They're all professionals, so they don't have to go. I don't tell them, you have to go on this footpath and be there at this time. It's, they move with it a little bit. They might be like, oh, I want to go and show you this lake, or let's go this way, get off the main path. So it's a little bit quieter, and they're great at doing that.
Great. So some other questions here, Tom. What will the weather be like in August? So actually, can you give us an overview of the different ones, actually?
Okay, so, the weather is fantastic the whole time, really. That's why we do this. In June, we start mid-June. Then the weather's generally pretty good. We might have some snow on the high passes. You saw me in the video skiing down a patch of snow, but it's just at the top, so there's no stress about that. If we have a really high snow year, which we are having, sometimes we give you snow spikes for those sections, but it's just something to throw in your backpack. They weigh 200 grams. And then from July, the snow is normally pretty much gone, and in June, you get the early flowers, and then July, you get the more peak flowers. In August, the flowers are sort of starting to die down a bit, but you see more marmots. I haven't even talked about wildlife and flowers. We should have had a slide about that and talk about for next time. But you see more marmots, which are this cool little rodent that lives in the Alps. And then September, starting to cool down a little bit, but you start this September, we got really cool autumn colors. I remember I did a Mapo Tapo trip with the ambassador, who's called Down Dirt Roads on Instagram, and we just got these like really bright autumn colors, like these oranges and pinks. It was really great. We really enjoyed that. So it doesn't change much. We're kind of lucky here. We have really short springs and short autumns, and then we have a decent winter. It always used to snow around about the third week of September, and then we have a really good summer as well. So which is the best month? I like them all. I see the changes because I'm there a lot. Whichever time you come, it's going to be great for you. We're not sleeping in tents, so I think we've covered that. It's warm at night. It's warm at night, so in the huts, normally I always try and sleep next to an open window, and I like that.
And Tom, yeah, actually, we'll go over these first because a bunch of people asked how much pre-training would you suggest people? This one, it's anonymous, but it says I've never done overnight hikes. So how much pre-training would you recommend?
So I would recommend that you just, you're physically active and you get out and you do some big hikes on the weekends. And for that, I mean 10-mile hike. If you can do a 10-mile hike with an uphill, downhill, you'll be fine. We're not in a rush. If you want to push it a little bit further, get out, do some runs during the week is always nice. And then it's always good when you feel you've got a little bit in the tank. But honestly, as long as you're fit, generally fit, we've taken 80-year-olds on this hike. We've taken 20-year-olds. So it's not so much about physical, it's mental as well. Being prepared and ready to be like, okay, today I'm getting up, I'm putting my boots on, and all day I'm just going to put one foot in front of it, and I'm going to stop for photographs when I want to, and I'm going to talk to my friends, and I'm going to make new friends and just enjoy it.
All right. So the one about the food here, Tom, different people asked about it, but I guess we already talked about lunch, dinner, and breakfast at the huts. But what about food supplies during the hikes? Do they need to pack their own food, and are there places where to get snacks or things? This is a couple of questions that I'm putting together.
Yep, all the huts sell snacks. We pass snack shacks occasionally as well. So you don't need to bring like 100 Cliff Bars because the guide will not let you bring it. We weigh your backpack before you start, and if you're over 8 kilos, we make you repack it over 18 pounds. So, I've done that. I've opened up backpacks and found 100 Cliff Bars. And I'm like, what are you doing with these? And they're like, well, they're for the trip. I'm like, you'll be eating these in the airport when we get back. That's just ludicrous. So we feed you well. Don't stress. Bring 1 day's worth of snacks and pick some more up as you go along because you don't want to carry it. Good question there. Is there any chance of any hiking days to cancelled? In short, no. We'll always, we've got to get from A to B. And I think the only time I've ever sent a bus is when there's been like a really big electric storm and we change that. But we generally don't have a problem with it. The only thing occasionally, like maybe I've been doing this for 6 years full time, I think. So I think I've sent a group to be picked up twice, 2 days out of that. So it doesn't happen very much. If it does, we look after you. We're here. We know the area. We know people. We can call people and say, can you send a bus? That's the advantage that's why Mapo Tapo works with us, because they know we know and we can deal with things.
Definitely. And Tom, I mean, this is like the question that everybody does at a certain point. How busy is the road?
It's the busiest route in Europe. It's the most popular route in Europe. There's about 1,000 people a day on the route, but they're spread out over 10 days worth of trek. So basically, you've got to imagine that there's maybe 200 people going roughly from where you are to roughly to where you're going. And once you get hiking, our group's going to be together. We might pass other groups. They might pass us, but it never feels like you're queuing. It's not like being in a town. It's very spread out. I mean, you saw from the video, we didn't have to fake up that video. That's what it looks like.
Well, then it leads naturally to the next question. Like, how far in advance should people book for this? I mean, given how famous it is, this trail.
So basically, you can't get in huts anymore. We booked our hut spaces this year, 12 months ago. So we're already booking for 2027 now. So if you want to be on this trip with Mapo Tapo, I think we're going to sell out by the end of the month, aren't we? So it's probably a good time to out this. Is it not? Do I do this? Is it above my head?
Yeah, we didn't put it up before. But anyway, for anyone participating to the webinar, there's a special discount of 10% off up to probably you're covering the last date. But anyway, up until the 28th of February, there's a 10% off on every departure for 2026 on the Tour du Mont Blanc Highligths. So yeah, I guess this was the surprise.
That's the surprise. Okay, because we're running out of time. We're already at 33 minutes. But basically, one of the trips is already sold out. I expect this to sell out by the end of the month. So, I wouldn't hang around. I would make sure that you've got that code written down, beta TMB 10. I would book on it now. You've only got to pay your deposit, get your annual leave sorted, because if you miss this, well, you can come back next year, but
probably in a couple of years, 2027, it's probably already selling out.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, that's the problem. People who are looking to do this on their own, they cannot find accommodation. That's because it's popular, So I'm a fairly big operator on here. The advantage we've got is we have got these relationships with these huts, with these restaurants. We're not just customers, we're friends. I was talking to the Bovine restaurant where, they've had an avalanche down near them today. So it was yesterday. She sent me a text showing the avalanches and things like that. We're part of the community. Our guides are very well known because the hotels like us. They like that we look after our guests so well, and they like how good our guides are. And if you don't believe us, check out the reviews. These are the reviews off my website. I've got about another 1,000 reviews on another one. And if you look on the Mapo Tapo reviews, 23 reviews from last year. We've only been working with Mapo Tapo 1 year, and we got 23 reviews at 4.9. You don't take my word for it. I'm biased. but the reviews are there, and you can see how well we look after you guys. We don't just say that, we mean it, and we want you guys to have a great time.
That is great. Thanks, Tom. So I guess this is it. There are so many questions still to be answered, but anyway, we'll try to cover all of them in either in the emails or in the social media. We try to answer everything. So I guess you guys can follow Mapo Tapo on social media and Alps Adventures. We'll also share the recordings of the session. And I mean, if you have any question, just send us a message. We'll be as available as possible, and we'll reply to any of your doubts. So thanks, Tom, and I guess this is it. And have a great night, and I guess a great afternoon if you're in the US. So have a good one. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.